It's Tiffanys content, and we're going to go back to Chicago because we're going to look at this incident that happened. It's very important that everyone is careful as you get ready for these winter months ahead. As you can see, there was a terrible accident with a train and a snowplow. So let's take a look.
Here in Chicago, investigating that CTA Yellow Line crash. Dozens were hurt. Several people are still in the hospital.
NBC5's Lisa Chavarria joins us here in studio. And Lisa, do investigators know what caused this crash?
They have not told us that yet. So we haven't heard that from the CTA, and now NTSB is investigating. So at this point, it is still unclear why snow removal equipment was on the same tracks as this particular train and why the crash happened. We have audio from the CTA traffic control tower as it warned about the machinery on the tracks more than an hour before this crash. You will hear that and the final warning just before the collision.
Personnel is on the right of way. Stop your train, please.
That was just before 10:40 yesterday morning. This CTA Yellow Line train crashed into snow removal equipment on the tracks at the Howard Rail Yard. That's near Paulina and Howard, which is in between Evanston and Chicago's Rogers Park neighborhood. Now, here's what the fire department had to say about their response and what a doctor says people should be on the lookout for, especially for those who refused treatment at the hospital.
Had a little trouble getting down to the train due to the terrain and the downhill. When I arrived on the scene, you had the fire companies and the EMS companies in the train engines, triaging and beginning to move the patients from the train.
If they're having severe headaches, if they're having severe abdominal pain, if they're feeling dizzy or confused or too much vomiting, things like that.
Let's take you through the numbers. The Chicago Fire Department says at least 38 people were hurt. 23 of them were taken to hospitals, with at least 2 in serious to critical condition. Chicago firefighters had to work quickly to carefully place those passengers onto stretchers, carrying them uphill on unstable, rocky terrain to those ambulances that were waiting above. Again, the CTA still hasn't provided any additional insight as to what it believes led to the crash. The National Transportation Safety Board is in town investigating, and we are expecting to hear more from them at some point later today.
That's exactly right, Tanya and Terrell. That Yellow Line train that slammed into that snowplow machine actually remains on the tracks this morning as that investigation continues this morning. Commuters were left confused and frustrated as they tried to figure out a way to get to work.
Oh my God, I just got to get to work.
With shuttle buses in place, morning commuters are having to scramble to get on a bus rather than their usual train. Kenton takes the CTA Yellow Line every day to get to work in Skokie. He tells me he would have been on that train yesterday morning when it crashed.
Usually I do, but yesterday I had to handle some important business downtown.
It happened at around 10:45 a.m. The Yellow Line train was full of people heading downtown when passengers say they felt a vibration, heard a screech, and then the crash. The train slammed into this big snowplow on the tracks. There was a CTA radio alert put out 2 hours before the crash, urging train operators to watch for personnel on the tracks.
2-car inbound Southeast West train that rear-ended a snow machine that was spraying.
The crash injured 38 people. The line was immediately suspended and remains that way, so commuters will have to use the alternate routes in place.
I'm coming from downtown Chicago all the way to Northbrook to go to work. And actually, I found out about it last night. There was no train, so I was stuck for like an hour trying to figure out what route to take to get home. I got off of work probably about 6 o'clock, and I didn't make it home till about 9:30.
I start 8:30, so before 8, like 10 minutes, I still have a time. Now I have to get up from work, from my home, like at least 6:30, because sometimes CTA, they don't tell you exactly what time they come in train or shuttle bus.
Fire officials say everyone injured is expected to be okay. 7 of the injured include CTA personnel. The snow machine operator was also hurt. This while the National Transportation Safety Board steps in to begin figuring out what went wrong. And we do expect an update from the NTSB sometime after 3 o'clock this afternoon. We have also learned this morning that 2 injured passengers have now filed lawsuits against the CTA.
Thank you for tuning in. I just wanted to share that with you. Be careful as you get ready for this winter weather. It's Tiffanys content. Like, share, subscribe.